Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Math Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are on the topic probability. In the previous videos, we have considered the definition of some terms used in probability. In this video, we are going to learn how to find the probability of an event. We will also learn about the laws of probability. So the definition of probability or finding the probability of an event. We've learned about sample space and events in the previous videos. We learned that the sample space is the collection of all the possible outcomes, and an event is a collection of members in the sample space using a common property. So let's say that we perform an experiment and we have S as the sample space. And X is giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we have an event E as 2, 4, 6. So we collected the event from the sample space. We want to find the probability that this event E will occur. Let's represent the probability that E will occur with P into bracket E. So P into bracket E is equal to the probability that the event E will occur. The number of members in the event E is represented with N into bracket E. And the number of members in the sample space S is represented with N into bracket X. The probability that E will occur, which is written as P into bracket E, is equal to the number of members in the event E divided by the number of members in the sample space X. So anytime you are being told to find the probability that an event will occur, is given as the number of members in the event divided by the number of members in the sample space. So for this experiment here, the number of members in the event E is 3. We have 2, 4, and 6. So the number of members is 3. So N into bracket E is 3. And the number of members in the sample space X is 6. This means that the probability that E will occur is equal to 3 divided by 6. And when you simplify that, you get 1 divided by 2. So the probability that an event will occur is equal to the number of members in the event divided by the number of members in the sample space. Let's learn about the laws of probability. We are going to consider 4 laws. The first one is that the probability that an event will occur lies between 0 and 1. So the probability that an event will occur, which is written as P into bracket E, is greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 1. That means that when you find the probability of an event, it lies between 0 and 1. The least number that you can get for a probability is 0. And the highest or the greatest number that you can get for a probability is 1. This is the first law. The second law is that the probability of a certain event is 1. We learned about certain events in the previous video. We learned that for certain events, the number of elements in the event is the same as the number of elements in the sample space. We have just found out that probability of an event E is given as the number of elements in E over the number of elements in the sample space. But we know that for certain events, the number of elements in the event is the same as the number of elements in the sample space. This means that we can replace the number of elements in E with the number of elements in X. Now, this is what I mean. Probability of E is equal to number of elements in E divided by the number of elements in S. But the number of elements in E is the same as the number of elements in S. So we can replace N into bracket E with N into bracket X. So you have N into bracket X divided by N into bracket X. And this will cancel out, so you are going to have 1. So this is the proof that the probability of a certain event is 1. The third law is that the probability of an impossible event is 0. We learned in the previous video that for impossible events, it's an empty set or a null set because it does not contain any member. We have just found out that probability of E is equal to number of elements in E and divided by number of elements in X. But we learned in the previous video that for impossible events, because it's a null set, the number of members or elements in E is going to be 0 because it does not contain any member. So the number of members or elements in E, which is the event, is going to be 0. This means that we can replace n into bracket E with 0. And this will give us 0 divided by n into bracket x, which is also 0. So this is the proof that the probability of an impossible event is 0. The fourth law is that if the probability that an event E will occur is written as P into bracket E, then its complement, which is the probability that the event will not occur, is given as P into bracket E complement, and P into bracket E plus P into bracket E complement is equal to 1. So what this means is that if you add a probability to its complement, you will get 1. Now, probability that E will occur is written as P into bracket E. The complement of that is the probability that E will not occur, and is written as P into bracket E complement. So let's consider this example. Let's say that P into bracket E is the probability that Amma will go to school today. So if P into bracket A is the probability that Amma will go to school today, then P into bracket A complement is the probability that Amma will not go to school today. And P into bracket A plus P into bracket A complement will give us 1. So if P into bracket A is the probability that Amma will go to school today, then P into bracket A complement is the probability that Amma will not go to school today. And if you add a probability to its complement, you get 1. Here is another example. If P into bracket R is the probability that it will rain today, then P into bracket R complement is the probability that it will not rain today. And P into bracket R plus P into bracket R complement is equal to 1. So anytime you add a probability to its complement, you will get 1. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. In the next video, we are going to apply what you've learned about probability so far to solve questions. Bye-bye.